Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. It feels good to be back. I have been gone for quite some time, and I got to tell you, I've missed it. I've been having an itch to go live, to talk in front of you guys. Went live earlier today with Cody on our NFL show, and it felt good to be back in the studio. It felt good to be back behind the mic. And then there's just so much to talk about, and I was like, I can't just make a video for each individual one. I'm gonna lose my mind trying to make one. I'm just gonna do what I do best, go live, and we're gonna talk about it. I miss you guys. I miss the commentary in the chat. Even though we went live on Wednesday, it just didn't feel normal, right? I didn't have videos pumping out, didn't have you guys commenting, yelling at me, criticizing me per usual, and I missed it. Got to be honest with you, missed my drug. So glad to be back. Glad to see that you guys were down for a little late night stream for the boys. And I know it is late on this Sunday afternoon. Some of you guys might catch us tomorrow morning. If you do, happy to have you then. But glad for you guys that are here currently hanging out with us. Almost 50 people in the chat late Sunday night. I'll take it. I'll take hanging out with you guys anytime, any day of the week. So look, guys, we got a lot to go over. While I was away, some stuff went down. Jordan Baby Hall decided to take a shot. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinion on that. It's I mean, it is what it is. I love it. I love the rivalry, so it makes it exciting. But I think he overstepped a little bit, and I'm going to get into that. Gus, obviously, Malzone, the head coach of UCF, stir a flurry today. Allie Peak, she made a video about it. She was not happy about it. She was dropping straight stats behind it. Few things that I disagree with on what she said. Not necessarily disagree with, but how I could, utilize it a little bit the other way. But this isn't against that. I love Allie. I'm going to talk about, obviously, this Tennessee fan took a video clip of our video and, had some fun with it, I guess you could say. So I didn't want to address it. I typically don't care. I actually don't mind people making videos about us or about what we talk about. I think it's part of the game. I don't have any disrespect towards him at all. He did what he's supposed to do. He had a few things that were incorrect, and that's kind of what I'm going to address. And I'm going to kind of take a couple jabs because for a Tennessee fan to be talking just seems a little absurd, in my opinion. So we'll go from there. It seems like a good guy, and obviously no hard beef. He's not a very good shit talker if he was trying to be, and I'll get into that a little bit later on. And then Colorado, Coach Prime. What's going on in Colorado? Look, a lot of you guys said this was going to happen, that the noise would settle down, and right now it seems that you're right. I know for a fact when this video gets separately clipped, the Colorado fans are going to come in here just telling me that I'm an idiot. But obviously we follow this pretty closely, and they're in the path of Miami right now. And then obviously we're going to talk about Miami because they just swung and missed on a massive 5-star stud. And Miami's going berserk. We just talked about it Wednesday where I was criticizing them, and I was like, I do not see this heading in the right direction. And here we are. They're right where I said they were going to be. So it's funny to watch. I love it. We'll see, but good to see you guys here. Sam, Normal Guy, Fish, Kiana, Davis, how we doing? Brandon, welcome back. Thank you. Q Lee, what's up, big dog? Good to see you, baby. Make sure you got the scarf on, Q. Okay, when we coming in here and not playing games. Scott 020, what's up, baby? Swalderquist, what's up, baby? Evil Will, what's up? Gator Man Smith, how we doing? Florida Man Scott Allen, he's back to back on shows, man. Good to see you, baby. Appreciate your support. Gator Nation, hashtag fire UF shorts. Matthew Walker, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Todd Freeman said late night show. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's ride. And then Ricky says almost 15K subs. We're almost there, boys. So if you know somebody, tell somebody. You know what I mean? All right, boys and girls. First order of business. Gus drinking again. So obviously he came out and said that he believes that they should be in the Big Four. They should be part of the Big Four. Should no longer be the Big Three. Big Three being Miami, FSU, and Florida. And back to what I was speaking to earlier with Allie Peak, she brought up some incredible data points and talking about how UCF hasn't finished in, I think their best recruiting class in the last 8 years was like 36, while the rest of us have finished in the top 10, respectively. Either second, third, fourth as our best class. Our worst class, I think, being across the board. These are her stats, so let's not get this twisted. I think the worst was Miami at like 36. Meanwhile, the worst for UCF was at 68. Speaking to that point, it's a great point. However, now UCF being in a non-Power 5 conference has done pretty well with lower-end talent, right? So having a low-end recruiting class, I don't think is the best argument for a not top 5 because Miami hasn't done anything for how long? We've talked about this time and time again. I'm down with putting UCF into the Big Three over Miami. And she was defending Miami and FSU, which I love. Like, I think she was upset she had to do that. I'm all in on UCF taking over the spot for Miami. FSU's done a phenomenal job. I'm not even going to criticize them at this point. Typically, I would love to take a stab at it. But look, I get it. I think it is a little bit. It is disrespectful to put yourself in the same category when you haven't even played in the same league, right? It would be like a minor league team saying, it's like when they used to say Alabama could beat an NFL team. Like, what are you even doing? It's a complete disrespect to every team in the NFL and even to the lower end players. It's like, let's not get this twisted. And look, are they on the up and up? 110%. Could they be a real threat sooner rather than later? Yeah, I've been on board with saying that. I don't hate it, though. I don't hate it if you're Gus. I think it's a smart move, and she even said it's coach talk. It's the same play that I believe that Kirby played with Georgia in this mindset of that we're the underdog. He created this narrative that we're the underdog. Well, now he's created a narrative that, hey, we are a big school. We are a power school. We're a powerhouse in Florida. We are meant to be respected. We are going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I don't hate it. I mean, if you're a coach, what else do you do? I mean, it's more than what Cristobal's doing right now, so I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I think it's a hell of a phrase. But again, I could see. Obviously, I know why Allie's upset about it. You're kind of overstepping. But I think we're in this new world now where things are going to change a lot quicker. This whole mentality of it reminds me of kind of being part of the senior club. Okay, so when you go to school or you walk into a new job and you've got your group of guys that have been around for a long time, and the seniors, right? The seniors are the vets, right? You've got to earn your stripes to become a vet, and that's just sometimes it just takes time. That time has gotten smaller and smaller over the years. What I mean by that is typically you can take 5 to 10 years to be considered a vet. Now it's like if you're kind of badass and you're good, and the old guys like you, they'll bring you into that club, and you're considered a vet pretty quickly now. So those lines have definitely gotten a lot grayer over the years. And so I see what's going to happen, I think, with UCF is they're probably going to have some success pretty early on in the Big 12, especially with Oklahoma and Texas leaving. They could, no lie, win the Big 12 in 2 to 3 years. This year, I don't think they get it done. Could they? Sure. I think Texas is going to be too good. I think Oklahoma will beat them. I don't think they get it done. But next year, they very well could win that bitch, especially with their recruiting class and how well they've been recruiting for this class right now. And if they make a few portal changes, they could win the Big 12. They win the Big 12, who knows what happens. And then, look, if they win the Big 12 in year 2, then yeah, like they're considered. I mean, Miami hasn't won the ACC once. So at that point, you've got to be like, yeah, you went in and won it your second year, you're probably part of the Big 4. If not, you're the new Big 3 in Miami's lower class, like I said last show. So look, I'm not that against him. I'm not that anti-UCF, as I know a few other Gators were. Dave hates it, obviously, because they claim themselves as national champions. I get it. It can be a little frustrating, but I don't mind it. I look, kudos to Coach Gus and kudos to the Knights for, you keep saying it long enough, eventually you're going to be there, right? That's just kind of how it is. Fake it till you make it, maybe? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Really appreciate that, man. And again, appreciate you guys being here tonight and the dislike. Brickle Bass says, "Go Gators, fellas! $10." My man showing some love late at night. I love the support, man. Appreciate you, big dog, on that one. Almost 63 people in here, 25 showing some love, dropping a like. I love it. I appreciate you guys as always showing your love and support. All right, let's dive into this, boys. Let's dive into this guy right here. I don't know if you guys saw, maybe you had, maybe you didn't, but a Vols fan clipped our video from us talking about DJ Lagway. We went live on Wednesday. I posted a clip about it yesterday. He posted a video like literally 3 hours after I posted it. And a few things that I was like, all right, dude, like you're kind of overstretching it here. I'm going to play his video for you guys so you guys can watch it and kind of just, I'll speak to it as it's playing. I think that'll be the best way to handle this situation, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's play.
So this could be very interesting. Let's get into this. Now, this is High Top Sports right here, and I'm going to let you listen to what they have to say. I've featured 2 of these 3 folks here. I'm not sure who this guy is in the middle, but
The only thing that he said accurate all night was he doesn't know who this guy in the middle is. Respect the hell of that.
They have come out live on this. They're so concerned, and they're trying to act like they're not, but they should be, given how things have gone for them.
Real quick, so what they're talking about in the chat, it's a nice little cheesy iMovie transition, but is they're referring to Coach Hayes talking about he heard a little birdie that DJ Lagway would flip to Clemson. Now, I was starting to sweat a little bit a few weeks before we had our massive recruiting class when they went and got one of our wide receiver targets. All right, so I'm obviously right here I'm saying that, hey, I was a little nervous, and I stated it when it happened. Clemson had a massive weekend, and again, they were obviously going after DJ. They pulled some guys that we were going after, and I state that in the video. Mind you, this whole clip was because the chat was going off of what happened with Coach Hayes, okay? And so he even said, like, they're saying they're not worried, but they are. It's a very weak argument. Like, clearly, like, nobody ain't concerned at all. I didn't even have it planned up. Again, it was brought up because the chat was saying, hey, what's this noise that Coach Hayes is bringing up? And that's kind of where it all stemmed from. It was never, like we were thinking about it. He claims that we went live on Saturday night to address the matter. It was a clip that he was watching. I guess he got confused because of the live at the top there, but it was clearly a clip for 11, or no, it was like 11, 4 minutes. I think the whole video was like 11 minutes or something like that. 2 minutes, I mean, not even 11. So I thought we went live for 2 minutes just to address it. Again, it's small stuff, small, like minute things. He's really trying to stretch a small story, which is exactly what we talk about in this video. I even mentioned a TMZ headline where, like, the more this gets talked about, it just makes it more exciting and possible for it to happen. And that's all he did. That's all. He just capitalized on what we were already talking about. And look, it worked. Florida fans flocked and went and watched this video. Got over like 10,000 views. So kudos to him. But I even commented, I go, dude, this isn't from Saturday. It's from Wednesday. And then he backtracked, goes, no, my bad. I love your guys' show. It's gonna be great. Like, don't backpedal. You're not gonna call us out and then backpedal in the comments. Like, no, hold your ground, man. Talk your shit. I don't remember his name now because he's dead to me. Lagway was a target of birdie here. I'll go to you first, and then Dave.
All right, little history here on this. Coach Hayes is a guy that's very much connected.
A little bit of a stretch there, which we preface that Coach Hayes is very respectable, knows his stuff there. He even tries to connect the Austin Simmons situation because he pulls up the interview with Colin Simmons, which was Austin Simmons' dad, saying, like, he knew it was going to happen before it happened. Mind you, that Colin Simmons interview was after the fact. And now Coach Hayes could have been acting, but during the interview, when Austin Simmons flipped to Ole Miss, Coach Hayes says, well, everything that I have here is now wasted, and throws this piece of paper away, telling me that he probably thought that he was going to be talking to him about going to Florida. Could he have been acting? I don't know. But for him, again, he's just stirring the pot, trying to, his little hands here, tickle things up, which is, look, it worked. But I'm more frustrated with the inaccuracies. That's where I was getting frustrated.
With a lot of the parents, a lot of the players, and I've actually featured him before, and I'll show you that. And this was a flip that happened with Simmons, who was a guy that was reclassifying to this year, and they thought they had this guy coming in, and he flipped to Ole Miss. But I did feature that, and look, he actually got the interview with the dad of Simmons, and this is where I had him.
And sometimes, as soon as a kid is coming, we love him. He decided to go somewhere else. I remember when Shamar Stewart.
So understand, this is not just somebody talking about this. This is
look, I don't know how much Coach Hayes is connected. I know he's very respected in the space. At the end of the day, the guy knows his stuff, but it's just in a sense another content creator like the rest of us that has his connections, but more so connection with Miami. We'll see.
A real person who's very interconnected, and that's why they're doing a show on this tonight. And I think they're in a little bit of panic.
I honestly don't think that there's any chance that happens.
Bro, like, I'm cheesing out because he goes, they're here to panic, and clips to Allie going, yeah, there's really nothing to worry about here. Like, that's why I was like, I don't even know how to respond to this because, like, we're literally saying, hey, no. And I get it. You're trying to say, like, oh, no, they're lying to you, though. Like, I don't know. How do you defend that? Like, that's just hallucination. Bro, I have a Tennessee buddy that I argue with. This is exactly how it is, like, arguing with him. Like, they live on a whole other planet. And I get it. It could be like a cousin-brother thing that's going on out there. I don't know. But it's like, how do you even argue with this? And this is where I get frustrated because he lets her run and then he clips her right when she literally goes into like saying like, hey, we understand it's going to be a down season. That's not what we're selling these guys on. And DJ knows what he's getting himself into.
Obviously, I can't be wrong, but from what I've been told, not only is Lagway really all in, his family is very much all in. His family and Napier have a really good rapport, have built a really good relationship. And DJ has been out there recruiting for Florida nonstop.
Nothing to see here, please, disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
And so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to publicly recruit for Florida and then leave all those guys that you got to come here and jump ship and go elsewhere. But I think that there's always going to be negative recruiting that happens. That's probably Clemson probably planted that seed somewhere along the line. They want that to be the word on the street,
They want the noise. They want the TMZ headlines. Yep.
Of course. And, for Napier, the negative recruiting is going to be, well, they didn't win last year. So if they don't win this year, he won't be there when you are actually, legitimately playing. And I think that what Napier has told this class is, look, we're not going to have a great season this year.
That's exactly what they're talking about. Look, if Napier has a poor season this year, have you met any Florida Gator fans? They don't sit around and go, oh,
he clips it. He plays afterwards. The fact that you cut the argument in half to, again, fit your narrative, like that's just, you're kind of losing a little bit of credibility, in my opinion. Again, you're trying to create a story out of nothing. Appreciate the effort. Another part that you leave out that we talk, and she mentions it again, we even said, like, look, we think that more than likely it looked like Billy probably struggled on the vetting process of Rashada's parents and Simmons' parents, but he did not do that with Lagway because the parents are more than bought in. They have shown that they're more than bought in. DJ's dad even tweeted today something about Go Gators and retweeted something. So that's something big that we admitted that, hey, look, it looks like we probably dropped the ball on the other two kids. Look, it is what it is. Like, can you say miss out? Like, Rashada's at Arizona State. We'll probably never hear about him again. And we'll see about Austin Simmons. I mean, I think, look, he probably could have a successful career at Ole Miss. But here's where I really start to get, like, this is where I'm going to go with it, and then we'll leave it at that. Where the hell is Tennessee fans? Like, y'all went 9-3, 9-2 last year. Okay, you choked. You're like, this reminds me of a Great Value Uncle Lou. That's when I watch this is what I think about. I get it from Georgia fans. They have all the right in the world to talk. Tennessee fans, you're like, where is this coming from? I get it. Y'all beat us last year and you had a great season, but you beat Bama. You rushed the field. It was your year, but you do what you always do. And you choked. You got absolutely clocked. You got cleaned, okay, by South Carolina. And don't hit me with the shit that, our quarterback got hurt. No. I got the stats, big guy, okay? I'm actually going to use facts here, not just clip shit up to make it work towards my advantage. Hendon Hooker went 25 for 42 for 247 yards. Joe Milton went 4 for 8. So Hendon was in it for most of the game. And you also referenced in this video about our quarterbacks being trash, right? With that coming up, you kind of somebody else talked about how Heismertz is going to be dog shit and all this and whatever. Well, Joe Milton went 4 for 8. He threw for 50% at 108 yards and a touchdown. Well, that's Graham Mertz's stats at Wisconsin was 50%. Now I know it's one game. We're looking at a small sample size here, but that's the guy that was supposed to be taking over. So you guys choke when it mattered most. Like, you have no room to be talking right now. You should have been in the playoffs. You were a lock for the playoffs. You would have rolled right in if you win this game. And you guys couldn't get it done. You got clean clocked by Spencer Rattler's little bitch ass from Netflix. Like, what you wasting your time on me for? What you wasting time on Florida football? It's crazy because obviously everyone knows that Florida football gets a lot of clicks and a lot of love. And it's just On3 does it too. They just like to troll Florida. So, again, I get the game. But I think you should have a little more of a platform and a little more of like your football team's got to actually be relevant before you could even try to make a comment. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. I could be wrong here. But again, my frustrations were the inaccuracy, kind of cutting and slicing the video to work toward your advantage, which that is what it is. I really didn't care about it, but it was more so it's like, where the hell are you coming from? Coming from a choke, to me, is a choke of a season. If you think what you did was successful, again, for me, for Florida, you got to get to the SEC championship and be competitive. The rest of it doesn't matter. Like, congrats, you went and won a bowl game. Like, I don't care. You can't be happy about that. For the fact that you were one game away from probably being in the playoffs because you would have just coasted right in with one loss. You would have been the Ohio State spot and had another chance at Georgia, which playing a team twice in 1 year and getting to skip a game is massive. And you lost. You got other things to be worried about than Florida football recruiting. Not to mention you guys are 10th or 11th. You're behind us from recruiting as well. Like, what are we doing? I don't got nothing to really stand on. But look, Tennessee fans love it. Y'all get excited about it. Y'all are oblivious to what's going on, and we'll make it spin it however you want. But yeah, look, shout out to his channel. I mean, he's doing a good job. He's grinding, so nothing but respect. But there's a few things that I was just kind of like, all right, I got to say something. I got to say something. You know what I mean? Moving on. Let's talk about, we can do Lil Baby or Colorado. Let's do Lil Baby. So Jordan Hall here, he went on a podcast and spoke, about a lot of things. But the clip that went viral went absolutely insane. These guys loved it, obviously, because their podcast got a lot of love from it. Good for them. These two players play for Georgia. I can't remember. They go, hey, why Georgia over Florida? And he goes, Florida talked a whole lot about nothing. Well, Georgia talked about a lot of something. And Florida hadn't sent, and you guys probably know this already, hasn't sent a D lineman since Tavon Bryant in 2018, which he has been wrecked for since then, because that isn't even close to true. So there's a fine line, because 2019, we don't actually have like a defensive, like a lineman, a D lineman that was like, if you look at the draft stock, they're both considered linebackers. I think one of them was probably considered like a linebacker / edge. So I think that's kind of our caveat there. But I saw a stat where Florida has sent a D lineman into the draft the last 12 years in a row. Since 2018, though, what I looked up, Florida has sent 5 defensive linemen. Georgia has also sent 5 defensive linemen. Now, before that, I went back to like 2016. They didn't send one. Now they might have like a linebacker / edge position. They may have sent one, but based on the position that came out of the draft, they hadn't sent one. Now, look, to his point, they have sent some studs to the NFL. To the NFL over Florida, and that you can't. I mean, with Trayvon Walker and those guys, and Trayvon Walker's been a little disappointed as a number 1 overall draft pick, but he's a number 1 overall draft pick. Right? So he's not wrong in there. Here's where I think things start to kind of spin out with this is this just speaks to what's been happening over the last 6 months here. To me, this is for freshmen and typically aren't allowed to do interviews. It's a very finicky situation. And here's probably why, because they don't want to go off saying some dumb shit. To me, this is a little bit of a dumb conversation, right? Because you're spitballing where it's not even accurate. So now you're going to get dragged for that. Now you're a 5-star coming out of high school, which that 5-star skyrocketed once he committed to Georgia. There's clips of him at the Under Armour game pulling cash out of his sock, throwing it up in the air. So for you to say, hey, I went to Georgia for a whole lot. When I spoke with Florida, they talked about a whole lot of nothing. If I'm interviewing him, those guys should have said, well, what do you mean by that? Or it's just because basically it's like, hey, Georgia paid me more. Because anytime we've had guys on the show go, hey, why did you choose Florida over so-and-so? And they'll say, well, they really spoke to me how I would fit in the scheme. And I elaborate on that. Well, what do you mean by that, right? What did they show you? We asked DJ, like, hey, I asked DJ, why did you choose Florida over the likes of Clemson and USC, who have created 2 Heisman quarterbacks? He really showed me how he would fit into the scheme, how my play style would fit with his play style. I sat down with Anthony, right? More of a conversation. So I find it hard to believe that Florida just talked about a whole lot of nothing, because every player we've talked to, we've had in-depth conversations on how they would fit into their scheme. So to me, it's like, look, you're just spitballing. You're kind of just trying to look cool in front of your boys. And it's more so like, look, Georgia paid more, whatever it may be. But this also, again, what I was getting to originally was, look, it's been a cultural thing that we've been kind of referencing. And Florida fans, obviously, when we see a team that we're being beat by have any type of negative publicity, just like anybody, we're going to grab a hold of it. And so it's been fun to really kind of stir it up. Dave loves it, right? And he likes to really spin it up. But this, to me, is another version of, just kind of the culture being in a weird situation at Georgia. It really does. Like, you've got a freshman going off and kind of just talking off who hasn't played a snap, kind of trying to take a jab and throw a little bit. Is it that big of a deal? No, I don't care. I love it. I really do. I think it's fun for the rivalry. I enjoy it. But if I'm a head coach, I know Billy would be like, yo, what are you doing? Shut up. And probably Kirby is too, to be honest with you. But again, it just kind of shows that is there a lack of control? Is it really starting to spin out of control? We'll see. Look, all of this could be hushed. They go out there and they win 15 games again. This is all just going to be talking season nonsense once again. But I promise you, the first sign of a wobble, the first sign of some struggle, it's all going to come stemming back to these situations right here where it shows like, hey, the signs were there. The signs were there. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. I don't care that he was talking shit. Like I said, I like that. I think that at a time where the Georgia is in the news for a lot of negativity, if I'm Kirby, I'm like, guys, we got to everyone just turn your effing phones off and just get your ass into the gym. I'm tired of us being talked about in a negative light. Because look, now you just created an enemy for no reason. Like all eyes are gonna be on you. You talk all this big game, like I'm gonna go to the league. You're throwing money up with like this and that. I love it. As a person, I love it. There's just consequences typically from that stuff. So we'll see here. We'll see. Let me see what you guys are saying real quick before we move on to the next one. I'm missing what he said. I don't know what you're talking about. Legal issues like Florida in 2008. Look, I mean, Daniel, you're not wrong. And they won championships. Look, if you guys are winning, like I said, doesn't matter to me. Do what you want. But obviously that 2008 team came crumbling down. That didn't last forever. So that's all that I'm saying. You guys are just arguing again? Megan says, you're entirely missing what he actually said once again. I don't know what you're talking about, Megan. But I do know Megan. I typically don't mind you talking shit, but you took a jab at my little brother in that video. I don't appreciate that. I also don't appreciate, talking shit about, young kids trying to make it out there. But I'm sure you know what you're doing, right? You're a big dog. Just take it easy the next time, all right? We'll see here. All right, moving on to the next topic we have lined up for the evening is Coach Prime. Coach Prime slows down. So obviously the noise of him getting some surgery, possibly losing a leg, has been going around, stemming around a little bit. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about recruiting, right? They're not recruiting so well, boys and girls. And this was what everybody said was going to happen. It's early. I know everyone's going to hit me with the early thing, but we just got done criticizing Miami. We've been criticizing a lot of schools on where they're sitting at. And currently they sit at 54. And which is ahead of UCF, which is funny. Now, obviously, again, some time is still left. But I expected them to be on a lot hotter trail than they are currently. I think, obviously they did a lot in the transfer portal. You think they're going to do that year in and year out? I don't know. I don't think so. Can you get away with a few big splashes? Sure. But look, I thought for sure they were going to come in and they were going to recruit like an absolute animal. I really did. I thought that was going to be his, Deion's thing. And again, I know people are going to come out and say it's only June, wait till December, blah, 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 blah. Look, to compete up with the big dogs, you got to be at a certain point for a certain time. Okay? And I think when you've got these other schools with 20 plus commits already, 15 plus commits, you got Stanford at 27. There's got to be some new concerns going on. You got Oregon with 17 commits with an average rating of 90, Stanford at 27, Washington at 12, Arizona State at 14, then Arizona at 16, and then Colorado was sitting at 6 with 8 commits. Obviously, again, a lot of time still left being in the Pac-12, and they're talking about transferring more than likely to the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to be healthy. You can't be that behind in recruiting. And look, he's not losing a leg. Okay, look, I just heard that he possibly might lose a leg. So I'm not trying to pronounce anything what he did. But I think that surgery and him going through all those problems may have caused a little bit of an issue in recruiting. Again, a lot of time is still left, but I'm a little concerned. This isn't going to translate to wins or W's on the field, which I'm sure they're highly focused on, which is I know where the Buffalo fans are going to say, we're not worried about recruiting now. We're worried about winning football games. And I hear you. And I hear you on that. But look, it's still early. A lot could happen where they go and win a lot of games. They could flip the switch. But I thought at this point we'd be talking about Colorado a lot more than what we are, especially from recruiting aspect. I even took a look at their prospects currently, right? Who 247 has them kind of looking at. Now this is just kind of 247 thoughts. One being Williams Nerona, who's crystal ball to Oklahoma. So that's probably going to be an SEC guy because I think it was like Oklahoma, Georgia, or a few other his options. Colin Simmons, who we know is probably going to be an LSU or Texas A&M guy. Ryan Wingo, who has been heavy Tennessee, probably Georgia now. So that's no brainer. Those are the first three guys. Elijah Rushing, who's been heavy on the Arizona side. Aiden Breland, defensive lineman. They've got him warm for, so they're still in it for that. But a few other guys on here, they're not even really kind of in the works for him. They're already committed or they're all looking elsewhere. So again, this could change, but I am shocked. I am shocked that it is where it is this far into the game so far. Daily Rivera says, I love talking smack on here. Love you. I love you too, Bubba. But yeah, we'll see. Again, I know Colorado fans are going to be absolutely in uproar when they watch this because there isn't like any like logical like thinking like, yeah, this is a little concerning because again, this is more so Colorado fans, their first time in this because there's a lot of bandwagoners, which I'm cool with that, but they don't, they're not following the recruiting like we have been and understanding this process. They are in the Pac-12. It's not as competitive, so they don't need to finish top 10, top 5. I truly thought that he would probably be hunting for a top 25 class because of how they ended the year last year. And I think everyone thinks that's going to happen again, but how the momentum was rolling, I highly anticipated it to carry over. It just seems weird. It's like you go off the high of the transfer portal and recruiting a few guys from 2023, really putting that class together. I feel like you should have capitalized on top of that. They've had some recruiting weekends since then, but nothing's really stuck. Nothing's really splashed. So Leicester obviously is a big one that's coming later this month. There's a lot of just noise going around. That could be the first domino to fall to really get the ball rolling. It seems to be kind of his forte to get one big player from every class. So obviously with Travis Hunter, then Cormani McClain. Could Leicester be that third big domino that he's able to pull off? That isn't going to be your Lord and Savior. You can't just end with one. I think he was able to do that with Travis Hunter, Cormani McClain, and what he did in the portal was great. You can't just continue to do that if you want to be competitive, in my opinion. So we'll see. Let's see. What are we arguing about now? Guys, what's we fighting about? Sipping for Meg. Where we at? All y'all use Coach Prime for clout and clicks. Okay, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. There's no conversating. Sean, who would you say your Florida allies? Basically, the enemy of our enemy. Example is Clemson, who hates UGA and always stomps FSU/Miami. Who's our ally? Okay. I don't want to like Clemson. Dang, who's our ally? Honestly, bro. Who's our ally to ally? Like if Georgia plays Clemson, I don't want Clemson to win. I would rather have Bama win. Like that would be my ally over Georgia. Like if that's who I'm picking. There's really no I don't want like a non-SEC team to win. So that's a weird one for me. I like the question though. I love the question. I just don't know what you're asking me. I don't see what Beg and Megan said about Allie. Allie Peak is not a disgrace, Beg and Megan, but it's a little much, big guy. She does a great job. No, we stopped recruiting Denson. What's up, Sorley? Why the sunglasses, Sorley? You told us we were getting Cali, big guy. What's up, bro? We have no friends. Yeah, I don't really have like a who else am I going for? You know what I mean? I mean, I like to go for Texas, but not anymore in the SEC. Slate Night Chat is Buck Rowdy in here, boys. Any more questions before we rock and roll? We can do like the comment section. Usually you do that on Monday. We can go do that tonight. I don't know why Beg and Megan's so fired up. Typically, he was on here. He's pretty decent, but I don't know. Disrespectful evening today, I guess. Did you cover Westfall? No, not today. No new friends. No new friends. Yeah, LeBlanc went to UCF. That was a little bit ago, boys. We got to lock it in, guys. Well, boys and girls, I appreciate you guys hopping in here for this late show here. But we'll be live on Wednesday like usual. Glad I was able to address those concerns here. Oh shit! I almost forgot Miami. Did I not talk about Miami? I didn't talk about Miami, did I? Oh my goodness! I almost forgot about Miami. Huh! I forgot my little tablet or my little. Oh my gosh! Incredible! I appreciate you reminding me. How could I forget? I completely forgot to add their topic. But let me add it real quick. I love it. I'll let you guys argue why I add this. I completely forgot about the to talk about it. Well, I gotta get back in the groove of things clearly because I'm dropping the ball here. But let's get into it then, yeah. Miami sucks. Oh, man. All right, so obviously they had a defensive lineman, 5-star, that was supposed to commit to them. I guess today they're high on their 5-star guy, and we talked Wednesday. I was really criticizing them because it's fun to criticize Miami, and Miami gets really rowdy about it when we do. Again, because they're like talking as if they won already and that they're back and that they're always back, and I just can't believe it. And now they're in complete just disarray right now in the message boards about losing out on Justin Scott, 5-star defensive lineman. And they're really hunting for a number 1 class. They're on a move right now. I don't think Jeremiah Smith's going anywhere. I think he's an absolute lock. They got Aaron Nolan in there. They're coming for Georgia, and they're coming for Georgia hard. And I've been criticizing Ryan Day a little bit of like, look, he's got to go win some football games. Like he's in a weird hot seat. I was speaking with a guy from Wisconsin. He's a Michigan guy. And we talked about it. I was like, look, I truly think that Ryan Day is like they're not paying Ryan Day to go 10-1 or 10-2 to make a playoff. He's got to win the Big Ten, and he's got to be playing for some championships, and he just hasn't done that. So recruiting classes are great. Number 1, recruiting classes are awesome, but this is bad. And look, man, I know we're gonna get the whole Miami fans are gonna come in here and say, just like the Colorado fans, they're just about as just delusional that they're gonna turn things around and get it moving. But this is a big swing and a miss for them. Could they flip some guys later on? Sure. But again, like I mentioned before, they have 10 3-stars currently is what they're sitting at. 11 3-stars. 11 3-stars and 3 4-stars currently with 14 commits. They rank 7th in the ACC. They're behind North Carolina with 20 commits, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, and Duke. Now, they have a higher rating than all those guys, but all those guys have only 3-star commits and no 4-star commits. Typical ACC fashion. But my goodness, I love it. I love it when Miami's down bad. It's an absolute blast because they're constantly trying to come after us. I am rusty. As Fanatics, I'm very rusty. I gotta get back. That's why I needed the show to get back into it. But look, dude, they're really starting to bleed the 3-star U. Cristobal coming in there and doing a big splash, not winning many games, but doing a big splash with recruiting. I just don't see them doing it again. I talked about this on Wednesday's show. I wasn't surprised when it happened before. You're fresh, you're new, but I mentioned this, I think it was in December. I don't have the archives like Josh Pate does. I'm not as blessed as he is with having the crew to pull things out. But I said on the show, I said, look, what Miami's doing, we were assuming, paying players and really throwing down on the NIL situation. I said, look, you can't hate on it. They're winning right now. They crushed us last year in recruiting. And I took it on the chin. I said, look, it's working right now. I do believe, though, it's not going to work forever. And I said I believe what Billy is doing is the right process. It's going to take longer, though, for it to work. What Miami was doing was a quick fix. Quick fixes typically don't work. They threw duct tape on their broken hole. And now, with what's happening, it seems to be that what I said is true. Now, I'll be more confident with that come December if they don't have a top 10 recruiting class. And Pate said that he said they believe they'll have a top 5 every year. I'll put $500 if they don't have a top 5 class by the end of the year. I'll be absolutely shocked if they have a top 5 class. I mean, because of their average rating right now is at an 88 with a score of 194. They've got, like I said, about 12 commits left. They would have to really land some absolute dogs to swing that around, because again, Georgia's at 93, Ohio State's at 93, Florida's at 92 and third, Michigan's at 90, USC's at 91. That's your top 5. And Notre Dame's at 90, Penn State's at 90. All these guys have 13, 12, 16, 10 4-star commits. So that would mean that every commit from here on out will need to be a high-quality 4-star guy for them to be close. Because, mind you, the other schools don't have 11 3-stars. They got 7, 5, 2, right? A lot of work has to be done for them to land in a top 5 class. So we'll see. And out of the top, let's see how many players are left that aren't really leaning anywhere. You've got 11 and 12 that don't have two 5-star wide receivers. They don't have any, lean or anything right now. Josiah Trader is 50-50. So that would be a big pull for them. There's a 5-star athlete between FSU and Miami. That could be a big pop for them. But Ryan Wingo, wow, he is now being crystal ball to Texas. That came out of nowhere. I didn't hear about that. I missed a lot, I guess, in the week while I was gone. So they have one player in the top 50 right now that has them in their sight, and that's Josiah Trader. I'm going down. Let's go to 100. They don't even have a top 100 player outside of the one Josiah Trader that has them, kind of showing like, hey, they're leaning that way. That's just a quick little overview. We'll see. We'll see. It's fun to watch. It really is. I think if you just go on Miami's message boards, you can have a good time. I think if the Soderquist, if you can't find him, that's where he is currently. Eric Montoya says Ryan Day has no worries about losing his job as the Buckeyes head coach, period. And I don't disagree with you. It's just, look, I think if he goes and he kind of falls on his face again, I think there's going to be some question marks there. You just can't keep winning 9 to 10, 11 games and not winning the Big Ten or seeing yourself in a championship game. That's not Ohio State standards. The same reason why Florida can't keep a football coach either. That's all I'm saying. I think Ryan Day is a great coach. I think Ohio State's been doing great things, but you can't keep losing to Michigan. You keep losing to Harbaugh, they're gonna let you go. I promise you that. If he loses again, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired. If he loses to Michigan again, could be a wild take. I don't know. They can't keep losing to Harbaugh. Plain and simple. Yeah, look, obviously the life wallet thing with Ruiz is going haywire. He hasn't really been found anywhere. And look, the thing is while obviously the conversation is last year with them being paid and paying players, he was heavily involved with recruiting. Ruiz was, and throwing money and talking about his, what he was doing. Then the Cavender things came out that really set things off to that kind of set the tone of things starting to fall back. Ever since that has happened, I haven't seen Ruiz tweeting much. I haven't really seen him be involved with recruiting. And about this time last year, I remember him being pretty involved with recruiting and tweeting out and talking shit and being involved, because that was during this time the Rashada situation was happening. Malik Bryant committed around, I think, late July, early August, and he was heavily involved with all that, and he's nowhere to be found now. So, and Cristobal is the GOAT of recruiting. I was reminded day in and day out of that. I don't see too many Miami fans on my account anymore commenting, saying Crystal GOAT. I don't see that guy anymore. It's been nice. It's been nice. Ryan Day wins with urban guys, and when they left, hasn't done shit. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done anything. Like, again, I'm not trying to say that Florida's in a better situation. This isn't me talking shit. Like, I think Ryan Day's a great coach, but they're not going to be okay with him consistently losing to Michigan. Well, it's been fun. Last month without college football, yeah, it's fun. I think this month's going to be exciting. I think it's going to close strong. Hopefully we can land a few more recruits. Some news are going to drop. We got some massive interviews lined up for over the next week, which I'm excited about. And then come August, bro, starting August 1st, it's going to be all hands on deck. And I got 30 days basically to get my shit in checked and get ready to rock. So we are full on prepared for this season, and we're not missing a beat. You know, talking season is a blast. I always love it. I always enjoy it because you can kind of get away with saying stuff, right? Because people usually forget. But this one's exciting. This is what you know. What's great about the off season is you kind of forget about the mess that happened last season, and your brain cells start to turn, and the excitement for what could be, it starts to turn back up again. So we're going into week 1, 0-0, and last year's behind us, and that's always a good feeling. That's a good feeling. SEC Media Days, July 17th to July 20th. That always gets things fired up. You get to hear from the coaches. You get to kind of just get a little pizzazz from everybody. Those are always a good time. You get a little sound bites. We got some massive sound bites last year during that time with Jimbo talking shit. So I'm sure we'll get a few more this year. I'm sure Lane Kiffin will give us some good ones. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. When does fall camp start? I don't know. It's a great question, Josh P. I was just actually thinking that on my head. I was like, when does that start? It's got to be soon. I'm working with the collective. Hopefully we can get something going here too before that starts so we can hang out. But make sure you guys drop a like, show some love. I appreciate you guys coming out here on this late show. But I'm gonna get to bed. If anything breaks, we'll be live. Daddy's back in the studio. We're here. No more in Wisconsin, middle of nowhere, no service. Loved it. Great trip. But it feels good to be back. Getting yelled at by you guys in the comments. So, boys and girls, be good. Stay safe. Have a happy 4th of July if I don't see you then on the 4th. And got some other videos dropping over the next few days. So be sure to turn the bell on. Stay tuned. When the video drops, drop a like, drop a comment. Love you guys. Be good.
I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah.